Hello and welcome inside of Keyworth Stadium for tonight's Detroit City FC USL W League matchup against the visiting Midwest United FC. My name is Jarrett Mackey. I'm alongside Sean Grogan. Thank you so much for joining us. Sean, in terms of big matches go, the way the W League works, points per game, what matters, what doesn't, it doesn't get any bigger than tonight.
Oh, it's an absolutely massive game. At this point, three teams have really separated themselves at the top of the table, with Detroit, Midwest, and Kalamazoo also in the hunt for the regular season title. And this first two games between Detroit and Midwest, 6-pointer on the table.
Most definitely. In Midwest United, you mentioned Kalamazoo. They were coming into this one after a tough 2-0 loss on the road to Kalamazoo FC on Thursday. Detroit City FC, of course, coming in after Wednesday's 0-0 draw on the road to Cleveland Forest, which at the time Detroit City FC was very upset about. I'm sure it wasn't much better after the fact, but then the next day, Midwest United went and lost to Kalamazoo. So drop points matter, and luckily for Detroit City FC's sake, both teams dropped points this week. Coming into this one, Detroit City FC sits atop of the Great Lakes Division with a points per match tally of 2.43, besting Midwest United of 2.14. Detroit City FC, of course, dropped points as well on the road to Kalamazoo, but was able to pick up at least one, whereas Midwest United came away with 0 after Kalamazoo got the job done at home. We take a look at head coach David Dwahey, the starting 11 for tonight's contest. Everyone getting ready, and we've talked about it on all of our broadcasts so far this season, how much availability matters. Detroit City FC without a couple key names tonight, but still some retain in the starting 11 this evening.
There has been a lot of turnover this season. I was looking at the roster before, and we have already played with 34 different players making appearances so far in the season. But it is a very big and very deep group, and Detroit will keep the level high tonight. There are a number of players who have stood out and that are still in the lineup today in the early games, especially goalkeeper Gabby Shriver has come up massive in the goal at all times. I've been really impressed by Ella Offer's play. See her out there tonight. And there are a couple of familiar faces making their return to Detroit City tonight. We got Madison Salzenstein stepping back into the starting 11. She's been around with the club for a number of years. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah, came on against Cleveland on the road. She sort of came on as a left back in that match, but now slots in at center back. You talk about Gabby Shriver, how good she's been this year. But Detroit City FC having to reshape, retool their defense without Avery Peters and Acadia Murphy. Took the words right out of my mouth, as we see here. Sophia Romine. I said this, folks, in the last broadcast. There's no way she can go 4 for 4 from bangers outside of the box, but we might see it. Went 3 for 3. Been a huge part of this success story so far for Detroit City FC, the Minnesota Golden Gopher, as he chats it up with Joyelle Washington and Kayla Addison. Kayla Addison making a rare appearance this evening in the W League, getting the nod from the start. Joyelle Washington started on the road to Cleveland, only was able to make it about 20 minutes before being replaced by Kayla Addison, so we'll see what kind of fitness she has this evening as both sides get ready. A good crowd here at Keyworth Stadium, of course, looking for a 6-point night after Detroit City FC defeated Charleston Battery in the USL Championship 2-0 only about an hour ago, and we're already more soccer here at Keyworth.
Quick turnaround.
We're spoiled. We're spoiled.
We are spoiled. It's a lovely night.
Things are underway at Keyworth Stadium. Midwest United gets things going and immediately tries to play a long ball up that far side, looking to test Alexandra to fend. It's going to be back into the midfield. Romine immediately getting on the ball, getting herself involved, something we've been used to so far this season. That one's going to go out for a throw-in deep in Detroit City FC's half. Beautiful night, like you mentioned. I couldn't think of a better night for soccer than what we've been treated to here on hand this evening at Keyworth.
It's absolutely perfect. The sun has gone down, not quite as hot as the men's game was earlier.
Folks, just to peel back the curtain, I saw Sean Grogan duck to try to find the sun in the sky from the Keyworth press box. So really, he's not lying to you when he's telling you exactly where the sun is, as Ella Offer is going to do well to see that one out of play for a goal kick. Ella Offer, a huge inclusion for Dave Dwahey's side, was definitely missing on Wednesday in Cleveland.
We've seen her play left back almost every time we've seen her so far this season, but today she's slotting in at center back to cover for the loss of Avery Peters. She will be comfortable there. She is a very good defender.
Romine lays it off for Ferraro. Ferraro running up some space on the far side. Ferraro's going to poke it inside to Kayla Addison. trying to use her strength to muscle past the defender and does well enough to earn a corner. So Detroit City FC here in the first 80 seconds of action, already causing problems, already moving the ball down the field and giving Midwest something to think about. Detroit City FC, you can kind of say that Midwest United has been the bogey team for this women's side since its founding in 2020, have never beaten tonight's visitors. So hopefully that's a stat we can only say after this evening and never again.
Before this evening.
Before this evening, yeah, exactly. Sophia Romine serves in the corner. It's a right footer. That one's going to go up. Kayla Addison's up for it. And saved. Okarafo. Michigan State Spartan in net for Midwest United. Of course, pretty familiar with that. Lauren Kozol was between the six for them for a couple of years, and now taken over by Okarofo. Great job there by Paget to settle things down. Gets it all the way back to Gabby Shriver. Shriver takes a touch. Nothing crazy. Not a lot of pressure so far from Midwest United, who were with themselves missing a couple key names here this evening. One of those names being El Otto, of course, caused Detroit City FC some danger a couple years ago.
Yeah, she scored
a hat trick,
I believe a hat trick here at Keyworth Stadium a couple years ago. Before
she was even in college, she was just a young, exciting player back then and has just developed into an even more dangerous forward. And so Detroit City FC, Dave Dwahey and his staff, going to be delighted to see that player excluded from the team sheet this evening as a misplaced pass sees it fall to Detroit City FC. That one's going to just get away from Salzenstein, I believe, on that far side. Great to see the crowd stick around from the Detroit City FC USL Championship match earlier this afternoon. 3 minutes in so far. Obviously, pretty early to sit here and say what team's been the better side, but already Detroit City FC, we're seeing the same algorithm, but we're just with different people involved in the mix. They're gonna play wide, they're gonna play fast, they're gonna try to get the ball out the field.
It does look like the same system they've played in started all the games in so far. You got that familiar 4-4-2.
All year, Dave Dwahey has lauded his squad's the depth that his squad possesses, and we're seeing it on full display here. Once you get deeper into the season, whether it be holidays, family commitments, whatever it may be, Detroit City FC able to retool a little bit, but still do the same thing to try to get results.
Oh, it's absolutely critical. It is the nature of this league somewhat that there will always be turnover between the teams. Midwest has some amount of turnover tonight. But really, I wanted to shout out the PASL squad that Detroit put together over the winter, coming up big tonight, being able to fill out some of the players missing. We got Kayla Addison up top, slotting right into the striker position, scored a lot of goals in PASL this winter.
For sure, and she was a couple games where Kayla Addison might have been absent, but she came in against Cleveland on the road on Wednesday, came on for Joyelle Washington about 20 minutes into that one and generated about 6 or 7 1v1 opportunities, was unable to find the back of the net, but she'll want to right those wrongs this evening and make up for that by scoring an even bigger goal and an even bigger game. But right now, Midwest United asking some questions, gets it all the way cleared. Addison unable to get a touch on it. Great pressure here from Addison and Romine. That one's going to go out of play. Maddie Salzenstein, I thought it was going to be a throw-in for Detroit City FC. Maybe she got a touch on it late.
She must have just got a small touch on it.
So small that we couldn't see it from up here. Throw-in coming now on the far side. Thrown into the area. Good defending so far by Detroit City FC. Shot from the edge of the area, nearly came in there, but it's played all the way out wide, and it's going to be deflected off of Drew Martin, I believe, for Midwest United's first corner of the game. Midwest United, they're sort of an institution on the west side of the state for developing talent, exciting young talent, really talented squads, and we'll see that on full display here this evening.
A lot of these players have played their youth soccer with Midwest United, and as they go away to college, they come back for the summer and end up playing for the senior women's team.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that these are good players that are talented. They've also played together, in some cases, for many years. So they have the chemistry. They know what they're going to do. They know the runs they're going to make. And that only adds to the danger that Midwest United can possess over the course of a match and, of course, as well over a full season. Shriver asking a little bit more of the team in terms of pushing forward. It's sort of a weird situation because the way that the W League works, points per game is kind of the thing that matters in the Great Lakes Division specifically. So Detroit City FC in some ways would take a draw this evening to kind of keep things where they are, knowing that they have another matchup with Midwest on the road toward the end of the season. But on that same coin, if Detroit City FC wins and able to get the job done elsewhere, they won't really need to worry about having to win that match at Midwest United. So it's a double-edged sword as Kayla Addison does a great turn inside. Has Ferraro in the box with her. That one's played across but unable to get through the traffic. And that might be out for a Detroit City FC corner. That one bounced off the corner flag. Would have been a throw-in otherwise.
That was a super turn by Kayla Addison. Left her defender for dead. Cut the ball back towards the penalty spot. That's always really dangerous when that happens, but just couldn't quite connect on it.
And you mentioned the PASL squad. We saw her do that in the PASL in almost every single game that we saw, and she had fun doing it, so good to see that out here as well. That one's going to come in. Romine chasing it, keeping it in play on the near side. Little stutter steps, going to see that one out for a throw-in. A super deep throw-in here. Good play there from Martin. Romine tried to flick that one backwards. It's going to stay with Detroit City FC on this end of the pitch.
Detroit taking their throw-ins immediately. They really want to keep the ball in play.
Played into the area. That one's cleared out. Detroit City FC going to retain possession here. Nearly a multi-ball situation there. Great job by the safe security guard. Sophia Romine with the step over. There's no way. There's no way, Sean. There's no way. We missed you on the last one, by the way. The one against Ann Arbor.
Good to be back.
And, yeah, I mean, you really can't say enough about Sophia Romine, what she's brought to this squad. Dave Dway, he was so excited to get her involved in this year's team. We've seen why so far. It's not just the goals, though. She's involved over the course of 90 minutes.
She has shown a capacity to hit those goals from outside, but like you said, she's so involved in the build-up. She's very, very solid on the ball, both dribbling and passing. Keeps it moving. A lot of the offensive opportunities run through her before the shot even comes.
As Kayla Addison into some space, plays that one across. Joelle Washington forces a save. And it needed to be. Okarofo would have seen that one incredibly late with how much traffic there was in the area, but a great early chance here for Detroit City FC to get on the board.
Addison again with that turn and cutting it back towards the penalty spot.
And so far, Midwest United sort of on the back foot here. Just nearly 9 minutes into this one. Thank you guys for joining us on CBSDetroit.com, the official home of Detroit City FC's USL W League and USL Championship squads. So we'll see another look at it here. Kayla Addison eventually runs down the near flank and plays a right-footed ball all the way across. That was a great ball and even a clever run by Washington to be ready for that one.
It's a good save in the end, though.
Ferraro, a good step over here. Sort of a 2v1 type deal on the far side. Ferraro's going to cut it back. Has Salzenstein in an advanced position. Salzenstein's going to play that ball in. Hannah Crum playing in a deeper position tonight than where we've seen her so far this season. Draws the foul here, though. And Detroit City FC keeps it. We've seen them take their throw-ins quickly, and very nearly Hannah Crum took that free kick incredibly quick.
She was looking for it. It just wasn't there, so she'll take her time to set it.
Left foot ball is going to come in. Is going to shoot it. I'm not too shocked to see that, but I maybe would have considered playing that one into the mixer. But to reiterate, for probably the 5th time this year, I've never played the sport, so no idea what I'm talking about.
Sort of an in-between distance. You can possibly hit it on goal, but it's a pretty low percentage chance when you do that.
I think her resume there kind of helped her case in terms of wanting to shoot. Obviously scored a free kick against AFC Ann Arbor last week against Holly Brown, and then tried to do it again here tonight as Kayla Addison might be in some space here. It's going to take an awkward deflection off the turf. A great touch by Kayla Addison as Washington goes for it. And to see that little back heel flick there from Addison to keep the play alive, that's 2 really dangerous chances for Detroit City FC in about 2.5 minutes. Olivia Albert gets it out wide. That one's played all the way forward, looking for the run of Ryan Fetty. Eventually got back by Salzenstein and then cleared up into danger, but only as far as Hannah Crum. Hannah Crum, a great job to settle that one and find Salzenstein with some space to run on the far side. Kayla Addison running into some space here. Kayla Addison unable to find a teammate, unable to find a shot, but it's going to stay with Detroit City FC. Had Romine and Washington up with her.
The Midwest defense is having trouble sticking with Addison so far. She's really showcasing her speed, has created a number of opportunities in the early going.
And it's not just Kayla Addison's speed, also it's the quickness. It's the acceleration on the turn, able to really shift her body in a way that a defender might know that she's going to try to run past her, but they're not going to be able to compensate and adjust quickly enough to stop her from doing it. Good job by Romine. She's just so dangerous from receiving the ball in the midfield. We mentioned it's not just the goals with her. She'll be involved in the play for the entire time she's on the pitch, whether it be in the midfield, out wide, in defense, going forward. It's pretty remarkable what she's been able to do so far this year. As there's a clean tackle there on Joyelle Washington. All the way to this near side. Played forward by Kaylee Collard. Martin plays that one away. Washington tries to slip in Romine there, but it was a great track back again by Kaylee Collard. The pressure from Romine's been exquisite. She was not involved in Wednesday's trip to Cleveland, so some fresh legs for Romine. Tried to slip it past there, but it's going to be turned over. There's Jocelyn Herema. You can see the intensity of the game just slowly picking up here over these last 90 seconds. I think Midwest United has sort of realized what Detroit City FC was able to do in the 2 minutes prior and is trying to turn it up a notch to make sure this one doesn't get out of hand for them. That one's blasted forward. Ella Offer trying to do some defending there. It's going to bounce off of Drew Martin and then go all the way out. Should be a Detroit City FC throw-in. Drew Martin throwing this one in all the way down the line, looking to find Washington. Just gained about 10 yards on that one. Definitely a first down for LaRouge there.
No, you take it if you can get further out of your own defensive end.
Nearly great combination play there, between Romine and Martin, but it's going to be turned over as Midwest United now has numbers forward, 26 on 26. It's going to be Tefen versus Collard, and on that one, Tefen wins out.
Did well to just show the ball out of bounds, take the goal kick.
Joyelle Washington, like I mentioned, she got her first appearance on the road to Cleveland on Wednesday. Played about 20 minutes. Looked really dangerous in those 20 minutes, to be fair. Cleveland's back line didn't really know how to cope with her, what she was trying to do. A couple one-on-one opportunities, but good to see her back in the 11 this evening. As Tefen and goes to ground, and they're going to say that the free kick goes against Detroit City FC. It was Rayanne Fetty who wins that free kick for the visitors. So if Hannah Crumbs was in sort of the in-between distance, this feels like one where you just go right at the goal.
It does. It's a little bit closer than what Hannah Crum had. I think this will probably be a direct attempt right at goal.
Madison Cotta looks like she's going to be standing over this one, the captain. Seeing a wall assembled here. Looks like it's going to be 4 Detroit City FC players from left to right. That's Joyelle Washington, Nina Ferraro, Hannah Crum, and Emily Paget. So they're going to be about a foot away from the 18-yard box. So 19, you add 6 to that. It brings you to 25 yards out. Right-footed one's going to come in, and Gabby Schreiber was up for it, but it started off way too high. It came down late, but never was really able to worry Schreiber, and she'll place this one down for another goal kick. An interesting first 15 minutes here so far, though, from Keyworth Stadium, is both sides have had half chances, but Detroit City FC maybe just a little bit more dangerous in the early goings.
Yeah, I do think Detroit has had a couple more dangerous chances, but gameplay is sort of evening out now.
It's been such a fun year to follow this Detroit City FC USL W League side, and I was texting with David Dwayhe before the game, and I told him, I asked him more so, I was like, coaches want moments like this, right, where games matter late in the season, they're big games. You say late in the season if you're new to the W League team. There's only 5 games left. That's how quick and compact these seasons are, and they're just hoping to get a couple more games and get into the playoffs and hopefully host them right here at Keyworth Stadium.
Coaches want it, players want it, fans want it, commentators want it.
Commentators want it. Can't leave that one out. Detroit City FC wins a free kick nearly, we'll call that midfield. Sean, where do you think midfield starts and where do you think midfield ends? Just generally.
Talking about
on the field, yeah.
On the field.
Would you consider that free kick to have took place in the midfield?
I would divide it into thirds.
Okay.
I would say the middle third of the field.
Okay. I'm fine. I don't have a rebuttal. I was more so curious. Because some folks are strict with it. They'll say 5 yards between the center circle, that's midfield, and they'll get really loud about it. And there's no need to get loud. We're just hanging out, having a good time. So really good technical play there on the far side to keep possession for Detroit City FC. And sort of an interesting move, I think that's Ella Offer down there on the far side. In the first couple games of the year, especially here at Keyworth, teams have been leaving Ella Offer acres of space on that far side. So wonder if we're seeing Dave Dwayne and his coaching staff kind of tweak things to get back to that because of the danger that Offer provides out wide. See Kayla Addison here. Been heavily involved in Detroit City FC's attacking play here in the first 17 minutes. Midwest United to get the game back underway. We mentioned seeing Hannah Crum in a deeper position. The versatility that she has, she's an absolute asset to Dave Dwayne and his staff. Another one of those PASL players we talked about a couple minutes ago.
Is true.
Aquinas College all-time leading scorer. Obviously been heavily involved so far in this year's W League side. Was involved on Wednesday night on the road to Cleveland. So not only is she talented, able to play in different positions, she's also available, which in the W League sometimes is the best quality.
Counts for a lot.
Romine tried to quickly poke that one back over to Salzenstein on the far side, but instead poked out of play for a Midwest United throw-in. There's a slight little breeze coming in. It's making the already beautiful day that much more spectacular.
It's starting to cool off.
But not even in a way where you're mad about it. Like, it's like a bonfire cool off. It's like...
Very pleasant night.
Oh.
Lovely.
Live for nights like this, truly. That one played forward. Poked away by the captain, Madison Cotta. Good job by Crum to retain possession. It's all the way back to Salzenstein on the far side. The third Western Michigan Bronco on the pitch tonight for Detroit City FC, Madison Salzenstein, joining Emily Padgett and Drew Martin.
Cotta is also Western Michigan Bronco.
So they'll know each other.
Yeah.
They all know each other.
There are a number of matchups. Always find it interesting when players are playing against their own college teammates and got to turn around, be best friend or be enemies with your best friend.
Oh. Ferraro, great job.
Olivia Albert in the Midwest backline as a teammate of Sophia Romines at Indiana, or was.
I once bowled, when I was on the bowling team in high school, I once bowled in a singles tournament against someone on the bowling team. It was really, it was tough. It really was. But we remain friends. You'll be happy to know that we remain friends, me and this person. Great turn there by Romine, maintaining possession for LaRouge in the midfield. Finds Martin, who's in an advanced position out wide. Tried to cut it back inside. And something to keep a note of in tonight's match is Dave Dwayne and his staff. There's not a ton of natural center backs out there for DCFC right now, so it's going to be relatively fluid. Right now we see Tefend in sort of a center back situation. We saw Offer drift out wide a couple minutes ago. So the back line for DCFC is going to be very fluid this evening. And for Midwest United, it's going to be interesting to see how they attack that and if they change it up based on the personnel they see at any given time.
Both Tefend and Ella Offer, I think, are more comfortable as left backs, but Detroit doesn't really have that option tonight. Somebody's got to play center back, and they are both pretty good defenders, so they get slotted into the center.
Great job there by Romine to maintain possession. There's going to be a foul in the midfield. There's going to be a talking to. Looks like the referee is calling over Heidi Tomasma.
It will be a yellow card.
First yellow card of the evening goes to number 21, Heidi. That one's played in. Padgett as well to settle things. A great turn as well. It's going to have Drew Martin running up the flank alongside her. Things are going to get physical on that far side between Martin and Catherine Welch. And physical in the sense there, when I started saying that, it was physical of like a nice, fun 50-50 battle, but then it kind of developed into Welch trying to throw Martin onto the ground. But both players got up. Just something to note as this match ticks on. We saw the USL Championship match get a little bit hot in some pockets between Charleston Battery and Detroit City, so we'll wonder if we'll see that carry over into this.
Pretty chippy earlier today. So far, this game's been pretty clean, minus the one yellow card. But even that didn't have a lot of force in it. Just was just for cutting down a counterattack more than it was
Yeah.
a dangerous tackle.
Which, she might be told to do that in training, preparing for this match. Detroit City FC does really good when the game's in a transitional phase. And so maybe part of that was going into this match, and maybe that's a yellow card that Tomasin was happy to take. 21 minutes gone, 20 seconds as well. Detroit City FC and Midwest United all knotted up at 0-0. Thank you for joining us on CBSDetroit.com. That one takes a bounce off the turf, and Tefen has some defending to do here. Shriver's off her line. A good heads-up play there by Shriver to come out and claim that one. That was Welch that was running in, through on goal. You never know what the turf's going to do here at Keyworth in terms of a ball bouncing, so I'm sure Shriver's aware of that, and that's why she came off her line to claim it. Ferraro, a good job dribbling through. Right as I said that, there was a funny bounce off the turf. Ferraro finds Padgett. Padgett connects with Crum in the middle of the park. A great job to play the ball forward to Sophia Romine. Romine slips that one through. Joelle Washington had a little bit taken out of it by the Midwest United defender. Crum's going to switch play back to this near side over to Drew Martin. Drew Martin fell over onto the ball, so looking to make up for her blushes there by going in.
Sometimes some funny slips at Keyworth also.
Stefan is going to have some defending to do here on Catherine Welch. Puts a foot in there, puts Welch off her path just a little bit. The left-footed ball comes in. And that one would have alarmed Detroit City FC back line and Gabby Shriver, but into the hands. No harm, no foul.
That was a dangerous ball in, but arrived at a really awkward height for the Midwest forward.
And this is, Detroit City FC, I mentioned how good they are in the transitional phase of the game, but something that you kind of give up in playing that way is opening yourself up to counterattacks, as we see Sophia Romine breaking through here. Romine's going to slip in Kayla Addison. Kayla Addison goes for it, and the angle kind of just, the angle of the ball took her away from that one, and it's out for a goal kick.
She never really got around the ball, tried to have a crack at it, but
I think when she first got that touch, she was looking for Washington in the box to connect on a similar thing that we saw a couple minutes prior.
Did look like that to me, but decided that that Washington wasn't open.
Romine again here. Slips in Ferraro. Ferraro's going to turn with it. Ferraro finds Washington. Top of the area is going to play it all the way, and we're going to get a free kick here. And this is Hannah Crum territory. If there ever was one, this would be Hannah Crum territory. If she went forward on the last one, she's going forward on this one.
I believe we will definitely see a direct shot on goal here.
Treated to a direct shot on goal. I don't think there's going to be anyone else. Romine and Martin might stand over it. That could be for effect. That could be legitimate. Well, we've seen a couple of occasions where Detroit City FC has gotten a little bit fancy with their free kicks, but yeah, once the ball's on the ground, everyone's ready to go. They clear the paint for Hannah Crum. But some interesting options opening up here with Martin and Romine in a ton of space on this right side of Crum.
They've got.
Here we go. Can Hannah Crum break the deadlock? The left-footed shot's going to come in off the wall. Joelle Washington's through. It's a great save, but into the back of the net. Detroit City FC takes the lead. It's Joelle Washington who scores the opener here at Keyworth Stadium. It's not something that was off the training ground. It might have been a lucky bounce, but nonetheless, Detroit City FC up 1-0 over Midwest United.
I do think they planned for that somewhat. I'd noticed all the Detroit players lining up on the left hand of the wall. I don't think it was the intent, but they were prepared for any sort of rebound, any sort of deflection, and they all pounced on it. Joelle Washington was the one who got there first, and you have to say it's a well-deserved goal at this point. Detroit's had a number of close opportunities. Finally, one falls for them. A
well-deserved and gigantic goal for Detroit City FC, who right now continue to build on their lead at the top of the Great Lakes Division. That's a goal that this squad needed. And early on, you said it's deserved, and it definitely is, as La Rouge finds themselves up 1-0.
Smoke starting to pour in here at Keyworth Stadium. Fans loved that one.
It at first was a great save by Okafaro, then it kind of just bounced around a little bit in the area. So you mentioned the smoke here. Atmosphere on full display at Keyworth Stadium. And Detroit City FC is familiar in playing in an atmosphere where it feels like a big game. Every game feels like a big game. It's Sophia Romine, absolutely unbelievable in the midfield, and she turns away from that one like it's nothing. She does that all the time.
I think we're about to get smoked out here. Wind blowing right towards the press box. Luckily, we're
lucky we got water.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
Oh, we're old hands at this by this point.
Never seen a smoke bomb in my life. As Padgett gets that one back, it'll be a free kick to Midwest United. They'll sort of settle the nerves for Detroit City FC. I felt like some of the touches, some of the passes, the weight of the game might be on their minds. But scoring first, going ahead, it's going to do wonders for the confidence of this side.
Be interesting to see how both teams adjust here. At this point, Midwest really has to start thinking about chasing a goal. Maybe not this early in the game, but
Romine goes for it. I had to interrupt just in case, because you never know with Romine. That could have been it.
Absolutely. It was another well-struck ball.
It was. The way it comes off the foot is something I've never seen before. And another crazy thing, too, is like they've all been different goals in a lot of ways. The one against Ann Arbor was outside of the right boot. It was unbelievable from Romine. So that'll be on her mind. I'm sure she'll want to replicate that one this afternoon. A great ball down the line there by Martin. Romine's going to slip it into Washington. Washington just slightly cuts it back, plays it across. Hannah Crumb's going to go for it.
Detroit is feeling the confidence at this point. They all feel a second goal in their blood.
Yeah, we see it there. Washington, a great job to get into some space. She's really good at finding space in and around the Midwest United penalty area. And Hannah Crum, it was a well-hit shot, but even a good save by the Midwest United keeper. Of course, it is the month of June, so that goal from Joelle Washington was worth $1,947.69. Scan the QR code on your screen now to make your pledge to the 2024 NGS Pride Raiser campaign benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center and make the next goal at Keyworth Stadium worth even more.
Third goal at Keyworth today.
I'm not good at quick math, but if you want to step up to the plate and do that, I was going to type it into Google first.
Nearly $6,000. I don't know the exact number, but
great touch there by, it was good by Addison. It was a good, clever back pass to Washington, just unable to fully corral it and put it into the back of the net. So
Detroit's showing no sign of wanting to sit back and defend this lead. They are really pushing for a second goal here.
And we've kind of seen that in every single one of their games so far, and part of me wondered if they're doing that against teams that maybe aren't at their level, but to do it against one of the best teams in the division shows the confidence they have and how much they believe in the system that they're playing.
I think it's just their identity, and they're not going to deviate from it. We've seen that they really want to keep the ball in play. They've been taking kicks, throw-ins very quickly. They want to attack. They want to be on the ball. They want to keep it in play.
Most definitely, and that'll make the coaching staff incredibly happy. A great settle there by Washington. Washington's going to do a nice little turn before playing it back to Romine. Never a bad option there. Sophia Romine driving at the Midwest United FC defense. Sophia Romine goes for the right-footed effort, but it's saved. Fingertip save. And every time she takes the shot, you have to take it seriously because it's been close already on 2 occasions, and it's just been 30 minutes.
That was a pretty good save that she forced out of the Okafora there. She's getting closer. Ooh, just clips Gabby Shriver as she picks up the ball. Looks like she's going to get a talking to from the referee.
We'll see it here again from Romine. Again, just so dangerous in driving forward. Dribbles past 3 players before going for it. And you mentioned that's a great save. It is to her right, and she needed to make that one.
She had to extend out there to grab a hold of that one. Not quite at fingertip level, but she did well to catch it cleanly, too.
She made the save. That's all she'll care about.
No
she
rebound,
made the save.
right.
Shriver now, after quick conversation with the referee, is going to get things back underway into the midfield. Good job there from Hannah Crum to maintain possession. Gets it all the way back to Ella Offer. Offer going to play over to Salson. It's got to be weird for a player to pass it to the position that you're usually standing in. That's got to be odd.
it is a little odd, but at the same time, you have a pretty good understanding of exactly where they want the ball and where they're going to be. So it does make that portion a little bit easier for the player.
But because you're there so often, you know that they're going to be there, so that could help too on the other side.
Well,
of that coin.
and you know, especially like in that specific situation, that player's probably going to want the ball ahead of them so they can take the touch up the line.
Because that's how they would want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Romine, a beautiful poke forward to Joelle Washington, the goal scorer, to get things started here at Keyworth. It's going to be a throw-in for Detroit City FC on this near side, but deep in the Midwest United half. Martin tried to find Washington back down the line there. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in to the visitors. Looks like Midwest United here already readying a substitution. So Joe White not liking what he's seeing on the touchline there. We'll see what this substitution is once we get it confirmed to us. Looks like Reagan Berg might be coming in for the visitors. So Detroit City FC here, another free kick position. Not one where they're going to go for it, I don't think, unless the angle gets funny. Left-footed ball into the mixer. I see Kayla Addison readying it to get up for it. The Midwest United backline didn't seem fully confident in dealing with that one, but nonetheless it'll be out for Detroit City FC corner.
Midwest player down. There was some heavy contact on that as the goalkeeper rushed out for the ball. I think she ran into her own teammate, but everybody's all right in the end.
So it's sort of the Wild West when you're a goalkeeper coming out to punch away a corner or a free kick and in that position. Seeing a lot of teams sort of focus on that, hone in on that. See that one into the area. Hannah Crum's going to go for it with the left foot and nearly into that top corner. It's going to go out for a goal kick. But yet again, Midwest United there having to catch their breath and realize how close they came to conceding. As we'll see, the early sub now taking place for the visitors. Reagan Berg's going to come on.
In, and that is Jocelyn Harima coming off. Did look like she maybe had a bit of a limp as she was coming off, so an injury force substitution rather than a tactical switch.
So Midwest United shuffling the deck just a little bit as they look to get back into this game. It's 1-0 on the score sheet, but Detroit City FC has been the dominant force so far in just over 34 minutes of action.
Yeah, Midwest has had a couple of opportunities. Nothing's really fallen for them, but you have to say that the overall the number of shots and the closeness of the shots have really been in Detroit's favor thus far. It's been a very good half for Detroit.
And honestly, not even just the shots, just like the way that they've been able to hold possession, the way they've been able to move the ball up the field, play in transition, defend counterattacks, create counterattacks of their own. It really has been a great showing so far for Le Rouge. Settled down and played all the way back. Fenn plays that one forward. So we mentioned key absentees for Detroit City FC this evening. No Tatiana Mason. She's been heavily involved. We haven't seen Lily Jekyll in a couple of matches. So this is sort of where we see how deep squads are and how serious they are in terms of being playoff contenders. Because another end of that coin, too, is you're going to lose your college players the closer we get to playoffs and the deeper you go in playoffs.
That was always a problem for the men's team when they were playing in the MPSL as it wore on. Ended up with almost a completely different team when playoffs ran around.
Good job there by Washington to maintain possession. Really good strength shown by her as Romine gets it over to Martin on this near side. Martin tried to cut inside, unable to beat the defender. Romine was going to go over there to assist her, but unable to keep it in possession for Detroit City. Addison rushing over to help with the press. Paget steps up from the midfield to help the press as well as Washington's going to put some pressure on the goalkeeper. The press from DCFC has been really impressive all season. And again, you see it against teams sort of near the bottom of the table, and you wonder, is it sustainable against the better teams? And we're seeing early on so far that it is.
One factor that I think really allows them to do this is the training sessions they run. Even if some of these players haven't played in matches yet, they're practicing, they're working on the system. It allows them to step right in to the spot they're needed in with
defend. Plays that one forward. Goes off of a Midwest United player, so took some sting out of it before they look to come forward and in search of an equalizer. Play down the line. Looks like Offer has this one handled. Going to let it bounce out of play for a goal kick. So you're not at the point of the game yet where you start to realize how much time on the clock, where you start to think about it. But those seconds will add up over the course of the match, and every second that ticks by, we're closer to the end of it. Shriver gets things back started. Some work to do on the far side. I believe that was Salzenstein that was up to the task. Offer plays it into Paget. Paget has Salzenstein if she wants her on the far side. Found her eventually, but just unable to connect with the pass. Midwest United now looking to have some sustained possession. It's been a while since they've had a chance, sort of a, even I would say half is generous, a third of a chance. So going to look to, you got to have a half chance to have a full chance, and you got to have any sort of chance to get a goal. So they're going to want one of those.
A lot of math in the booth tonight.
There's no math happening in my head right now, I promise. I appreciate that you consider math knowing what half is and what a third is. That's awesome.
Look, it is technically kindergarten math.
Oh, I don't know about kindergarten, right? I mean, at
First
least
or second grade.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year I learned that in.
They still have the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Is that still a show?
I have no idea. I did watch it, though.
That was an awesome show. Jeff Foxworthy, I don't know how I feel about that guy, but the show was great. Martin gets things forward.
It's amazing how I was always dumber than the fifth grader.
Oh, they were never smarter than the fifth grader on that show. But I digress. As defend looks to get the ball forward. While we were having a great sidebar about Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, voice of Detroit City FC, Neil Rule stepped in behind us. So way to put pressure on those in the booth right now. Gosh, having a celebrity in the press box with us, it's kind of crazy. Midwest United looking to settle things down just a little bit. They always say the worst time to concede is around halftime, so certainly in that range now for Detroit City FC and Midwest United. Good turn there by Paget. She's been incredibly consistent for Detroit City FC so far this season.
She's been has she played in every game? She has got to be close to it.
If not, she has me fooled.
Ever present.
Yeah, if not, she has me fooled. She was not involved in the trip, I don't believe, to Cleveland on Wednesday. So we'll give her a pass for that one. Tough middle of the week going down to Cleveland. It's not everyone can make it work, you know?
That is the nature of this league. And Cleveland is probably the furthest away trip, except for maybe Michiana might be further.
Of course, Detroit, a great segue, Sean. Detroit City FC, of course, going to Michiana this Wednesday. So looking to do the same thing they did here at Keyworth, dominate play, get some early goals, and get goals early and often. As Tefen had some work to do there, he's going to put it out for a throw-in. We've seen Tefen be involved, very similar to Emily Paget. She's been involved in every game so far and is working her way into the starting 11 and knowing that once players leave or once the schedule becomes complicated, she'll get her chance, and so far doing a great job tonight.
She's been very solid. Like I said earlier, I think she's more comfortable as a left back, but she's doing a wonderful job as a center back so far tonight.
That one's going to bounce over everybody, and that one shot across the bow for Detroit City FC's back line. It was a long throw-in that was flicked on, and that could have gone anywhere in the area, but it goes out for a goal kick. Shriver gets things back underway. Finding, I believe that was Ella Offer. Shriver slowing things down just a little bit. Sort of a non-existent press right now from Midwest United. Don't know if they just don't feel like they have to yet, or if things aren't as dire as maybe they should be. Just an awkward decision.
They don't seem to be deviating from their game plan yet, and maybe they'll have a talk about it at halftime when they go in to the room and really come out with a little bit more energy. But right now, this is the plan they set before the game started, and they're going to stick to it.
Honorable.
They have,
sure.
They still have a lot of time left in the game. They don't need to really chase that goal so heavily yet, but they do need to start to
at least consider chasing it, right?
at least.
Yeah. Like, we can have the conversation where it's like, when are we going to start chasing it? Great job by Romine. An incredible run down this near side. That feint got me spun out of shape there as Romine. Excellent movement. Cuts it back one more time. Plays it inside to Kayla Addison. She's offside slightly. But again, that's the danger that she possesses, that any given moment can make the whole crowd stand on her feet. Worth the price of admission, Sophia Romine. Been a revelation for this side this year. In the press, in the attack, when you need to kill the game, take some seconds off the clock, it's been Sophia Romine answering the call on nearly every occasion for DCFC so far. Back underway. Okorofo is going to get things started, trying to find the fullback in a wide position out wide. Does well to do so. It'll be Madison Cotta, who sort of early on in this game, the first half sort of shifted from center back to fullback, back to center back. So not really a defined position for her out there yet. And I'm sure it's, dependent on game state. That one's played all the way to Crum, who eventually just blasts it up into the sky. Tough collision there on the far side. I thought everyone in the stadium was expecting a whistle, including myself, but maybe it looked worse than it was. Referee happy to Hannah Crum, not hearing the arguments of the referee there.
She went down heavily, so it's good to see her up on her feet pretty quickly.
Yeah, she was always going to argue her case there, and she has every right to. That one's played into the area, offered as well to head it out of danger. Back to the foot of a Midwest United player, but nothing that was going to trouble the Detroit City FC back line. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left, plus stoppage time, of course, in this first half of action here at Keyworth Stadium. Joelle Washington giving Detroit City FC the 1-0 lead. And LaRouge has been able to hold on to that. That goal came in the 25th minute of action. So good job to stand tall for LaRouge so far. Coming all the way across to Offer. Offer's going to play it out wide to Salzenstein. Back into Offer. We saw a lot of Detroit City FC progressing the ball from a center back position with Avery Peters and Acadia Murphy because of their past experience as midfielders. But now you're playing players that are usually fullbacks and center back. We'll see if we'll see that same thing as Kayla Addison receives the ball in an advanced position. And I think
did it take a slight?
I don't think that took a deflection. I think she just unable to control it and get it down, and that one's out for a goal kick. So that might take us into stoppage time, or at least on the doorstep of it. So going to be restarted here by the visitors. Played forward by Okorofo. Good job by Crum to stay in that fight. Padgett's going to have some defending to do. A good job as well by Drew Martin to not let that one get past her, because Midwest United could have had numbers forward there. Good press by Padgett. Padgett and Romine, sort of the battery for this Detroit City FC team. It always just looks so easy for Padgett. No matter what she does, she just does it with such an ease that is hard to replicate unless you really know what you're doing, and she has done so all season for LaRouge.
I've been really impressed with her versatility. We've seen her in a number of positions, a number of roles for the team. She's willing to fill in wherever they need.
Padgett running forward. Ferraro on the turn. Ferraro nearly had a left-footed effort. He's going to eventually try to slip in Addison, who goes to ground. It took an awkward deflection off the defender that was guarding Addison, so maybe it could have been something there, but Olivia Albert lives to die another day. Throw in coming from Salzenstein. Throw it up to Addison. Addison tried to take a touch and get it on the turn, unable to do so. Back to Crum in the midfield. Finds Paget. Some pressure coming on to Paget, but a good job to get it over to Crum. Crum's going to switch play to Martin over here on this near side. Drew Martin's going to play right for the ball into the air. Washington was making a deep run. Aaron touch there from Kaylee Collard. He's going to see it go out of play for a throw-in.
That was a really dangerous ball in. Olivia Albert had to get that touch on there, otherwise it would have been another very close opportunity for Detroit City.
And it was a good ball because of how clever of a run it was by Washington at that far post as well. So both things working well there, but Olivia Albert working overtime to keep that one out as Kayla Addison thought she might have had a half chance at goal there. Crum into the midfield, a great header to get it out of her zone and trying to find Ferraro on the middle of the park. A good job by Ferraro. And we'll hear 3 ticks of the whistle. That'll do it here for the first half of action at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC riding high right now, enjoying a comfortable 1-0 lead over Midwest United. Thanks to that person right there, Joyelle Washington, able to separate these two sides here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in about 15 minutes from Keyworth Stadium as DCFC looks to hold on to a 1-0 advantage. Hello and welcome back into Keyworth Stadium for what is a gigantic second half of action between the Detroit City Football Club and the visiting Midwest United FC. Le Rouge comes into the second half of action with the 1-0 edge over the visiting Midwest United thanks to a 25th minute Joyelle Washington goal. Sean, we were talking about it, at different phases throughout that first half. That lead was well-deserved for Detroit City.
Well, they had a number of very close opportunities. Finally, one fell for them, Joyelle Washington, but they didn't really stop there. They kept searching for that second goal, and it actually almost feels unjust at this point that they're only up by one.
Yeah, most definitely. And Joyelle Washington, we mentioned she kind of got her first taste of a opportunity on the road to Cleveland on Wednesday. It was sort of a difficult one for her. She didn't have the fitness to go beyond 20 minutes. So good to see her make the 45 so far here. Get a goal, get some confidence in her, and we'll see how much she's able to add in the second half. But the combination play between her, Sophia Romine, Kayla Addison, Drew Martin, everyone's been great so far for Detroit City FC. And in these big games, in these big moments, you need your key players to step up. And so far for Dave Dway and his staff, they have. So we'll see here that the final words of preparation coming in what is a massive match. We did some quick math at halftime, and if things stay this way in the second half and Detroit City FC is able to walk out of here with 3 points, their points per game tally will go up to 2.5. Midwest United's will then drop to 1.87, which will put them in third place behind Kalamazoo, who currently sits at 1.89. So it could set up a massive match against Kalamazoo here at Keyworth next Saturday.
Points per game, of course, the official metric of the league. That is how the playoffs are decided. There is 1.5 playoff spots per this division.
And he's not joking about that, folks.
Yeah,
there's 1.5 playoff.
I've read the official league document on that. It is phrased as 1.5.
Yeah, that makes one of us.
The the way that works, though, that there's one direct spot to the playoffs, and the second spot will be decided between this and the division with Indy 11 in it, based on points per game. Yeah, based on points per game. So that's why we're phrasing everything in points per game. It is a little non-traditional for the soccer purists of you out there, but
like the two of us on this call.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. It does.
It pains me going to the W League website and seeing points per game being the boldened number, and it's like points is right there. We can highlight points, right? We can be adults. But Kayla Addison ready to get things started for the second half of action here at Keyworth Stadium as Detroit City FC looks to hold on to a lead in the second half. I don't notice any changes so far for Detroit City. Why fix what's not broken?
It does look like the same starting 11 to me.
As Kayla Addison gets things back underway. Hannah Crum's going to play it forward to Kayla Addison. Hannah Crum, of course, directly involved in the goal from Joyelle Washington. It came from a Hannah Crum free kick, which sort of took a couple lucky deflections for Detroit City FC. It did look like something could have been off the training pitch, but nonetheless, all goals count the same, and it's 1-0 at Keyworth. As Midwest United looks for a path back into this one. Thrown forward at about the midfield. Poked away, poked forward. It's going to come all the way back. Midwest United looking to get an early counterattack going here, going direct, and the long ball over the top. That one's going to come out for a throw-in deep in the Detroit City FC half. And so far, Gabby Shriver has had a couple goal kicks, couple of near misses on her post. It hasn't had too much to do aside coming off the line on one or two occasions. So Midwest United definitely want to challenge her and see if they can make her have to make a couple saves in this second half.
It'll be interesting to see as this half wears on whether they really did make any changes during the half.
Romine into some space. A great ball forward to Kayla Addison. Kayla Addison's going to have a run of Joyelle Washington up with her. Addison into the box, plays it all the way across, finds Romine top of the area. And, yeah, there was Sophia Romine was lining up a shot right there. And the time she had on the ball,
Midwest,
it would have been a good shot. That's a smart close down by the visitors.
Midwest wise to it at this point, maybe. Really closed her down quickly.
It's hard not to be wise to it. I mean, every game that she's been in so far, we saw 3 in the first half that were close. So definitely going to be weighing on her mind in the second half of action. As Madison Salzenstein gets onto the ball now. Plays it forward with a left-footed ball. Tried to find in Romine there, but a good job by the captain to see that one out of play. Looks like it's going to stay with Detroit City FC, actually. Pretty deep in the Midwest United half. Salzenstein gets it underway, throws it into Romine. Poked away, but Romine still engaged with it. Good pressure from her. It will be a Midwest United throw-in the end, but that pressure, that constant pressure that you have to look out for is going to make Midwest United think. Addison back to goal. A great job to keep it in. Finds Romine, who kind of just runs into traffic, but a good job by Ferraro to keep possession for Le Rouge. Has multiple players up with her, but sort of isolated now on the... Does well to win that one there. Played all the way across. Not fully cleared away. It's Washington again. I think she was kind of just shocked how easily that one fell to her, and then it goes out for a goal kick.
She tried to hit it on the turnaround.
Yeah.
And
I want everyone to know that every time Sean Grogan says that someone tried to do something, he does the action in the booth in real life.
That is a scary action for me, though. I broke my own pelvis doing exactly that, spinning to shoot, and I didn't even score. I cracked it off the post, but
if you would have scored, no one would have known otherwise. So you could have just said so. But he's an honest man. So he's an honest man. We never tell a lie. But, yeah, on that occasion, it was Olivia Dalt who had a misplaced touch, and it allowed Washington to have some space and time in the box, just unable to sort of flub their chance and sees it out for a goal kick. But Detroit City FC still playing with confidence and still playing with an attacking intent. As a great ball through from Romine all the way back, tried to slip in Addison or Ferraro, ends up finding neither of them. I think she was sort of caught in between two ideas there, and it goes out for eventually a throw-in. But Detroit City FC, interesting enough, is playing this half faster than they played the first half so far.
They showing no indication of changing how they want to play.
Great job there by Romine to find Addison. Addison had some space for a shot. It took a deflection, and I think it was a needed deflection. Eventually, the offside flag comes up. Pretty late offside flag. Romine, we saw it again here, a great ball in. Yeah, Washington, I think, tried to find Addison, but then maybe at the last second saw Ferraro making a good run.
That's just inches away from another point-blank Detroit City opportunity there.
Moments away from being dangerous right there, Detroit City FC was. Okay, Rofo. And I think if you're Joe White at halftime, that the coach of Midwest United, I feel like you kind of just said to them, we gotta try, we gotta want to be involved in this game. So far, Detroit City FC's been directing traffic. They've been the ones asking all the questions. As Midwest has been relatively pedestrian and nearly had a half chance there, but Madison Cotta unable to keep up with it as it skips off the turf and out of play. But so far, a pedestrian showing from the visitors, and that's not like them.
It is somewhat surprising to me because they aren't missing that many players today. This is the bulk of the players that have got them this far in the season. They have one or two who are missing, but it's always going to happen.
How much of it do you think is the intent that the teams are willing to play with, and how much of it do you think is the personnel that both teams have out there? I think, for me, it's not been who's been out there for Midwest United. It's how they've applied themselves, and so far they haven't done too good a job at that. As Washington cuts inside, goes for the shot, is eventually taken down, but the shot comes off. Kayla Addison in front of goal. It's 2-0 Detroit City FC. Kayla Addison doubles the lead for Le Rouge. And the crowd on hand loves that one. We saw it in the PASL. Detroit City FC cruising after 50 minutes of play against Midwest United.
Thought there was a penalty shout right before that goal, but referee elected not to call it, and sometimes the ball don't lie.
And a lot of times you kind of see referees allow a certain amount of contact in the box if the shot comes off, and I think it did on that occasion. Yeah. But then it opened up for Kayla Addison, fell right to her.
Clinical finish, too. Goalkeeper never really had a shot at it.
And there was a couple touches. She took a lot of touches after getting the ball in the area. We saw Washington's chance a couple minutes prior where she tried to just, get it out of her feet right away. And on this occasion with Addison, she settled things down, took a little bit of space, and then just poked it right past the goalkeeper to give Detroit City FC a 2-0 lead. That's a popular goal here at Keyworth Stadium. So Detroit City FC now able to operate from even a stronger position of power than they were after going up 1-0 in the 25th minute. That's Kayla Addison with the second goal of the evening. Last week, Detroit City FC women's side got 3 points here against AFC Ann Arbor. The men later that night got another 3 points on the road to Rhode Island, a 6-point night. And now Detroit City FC looking for a 6-point night across the club, both here at Keyworth.
It's been a nice little run for Detroit fans.
Oh, beautiful run for Detroit fans. It's been so much fun. So that one, a deep throw in now for the visitors. Dealt with in the sense that we'll see a corner for Midwest United. So not 100% sure who's going to be taking this one. We'll see it again here as Washington got into the area, and there's that penalty shot we were talking about. I think that's a penalty all day. And look at that final touch there, cannoned off Sophia Romine. I wonder, I'm crediting Sophia Romine with the assist on that one. I don't know if legally that's how that works, but it came off of Romine into the path of Addison, so good enough for me. That one's going to come into the area. I believe that was Olivia Dalt that got up for that one, but it's out for a Gabby Shriver goal kick.
Midwest seems to be picking up the intensity here. Then maybe finally that second goal has lit the fire under them.
As we'll see another substitution for the visitors. Looks like Madison Cotta, the captain's going to be making way for Emma Schudick. Of course, once again, folks, it is the month of June, so that goal from Kayla Addison, the second of the match, was worth $1,947.69 in the 2024 Northern Guard Supporters Pride Raiser campaign benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center. It's quite simple. Scan the QR code on your screen. Make a pledge. Every goal scored at Keyworth Stadium during the month of June is going toward the Ruth Ellis Center, a great cause in the community that's doing fantastic work. So cheer for your team, cheer for a great cause, and put your money where your mouth is.
Fourth goal scored today at Keyworth. That is nearly $8,000 for
numbers going up. Numbers going up, and it's been what a month it's been so far for the Pride Raiser campaign. Started off with a 1-0 win over Cleveland, then last week 2 goals versus AFC Ann Arbor, 4 goals against AFC Ann Arbor, 2 earlier against Charleston, and now so far 2 against Midwest United. So what a day for the Pride Raiser campaign. Of course, still 3 games left in the month of June. Kalamazoo here next weekend against Pumas next weekend. That one's going to count despite being a friendly. And then Detroit City versus Birmingham Legion on June 26th. So still a lot of money to be raised for the Ruth Ellis Center. Detroit City FC still applying the pressure despite doubling their advantage. Good ball down the line. But still kept by the visitors. Just going to see they go all the way out of play for a Gabby Shriver goal kick. Now we're kind of at the point where, is Detroit City FC going to stay with what they're doing in terms of personnel on the field? Do you make some changes to get more defensive? I don't think we'll see that from Dave Dway and his staff, but, kind of get some players minutes that haven't gotten minutes so far, especially at home this season.
I don't see any indication of Detroit trying to change their system so far. It does
why would you?
Yeah. It does look like Midwest is maybe pressing a lot higher than they did earlier in the game. And they really don't have any other choice at this point.
No. I mean, it's now. I mean, if you're Detroit City FC, in order to, obviously the cliche, right? 2-0 lead in football, but it's been a comfortable 2-0 for Detroit City FC so far this evening. As Washington still gets involved, Kayla Addison able to run onto it. Nearly a scare there for Michael Kitchen over in the corner, but does well to hold off the defenders.
Taking photos the entire time.
I mean,
true.
Yeah, he's a pro, right? He's a pro at what he does.
Experience hand.
Okarofo now setting the ball down and kind of just looking to see what her options are. It's been a tough. I don't think she's done anything wrong for the 2 goals that they've conceded so far. Just kind of left in no man's land for both strikes for LaRouge.
She's come up big for them in a couple number of times, but that last one I don't think she had any chance whatsoever at. No. There was a point-blank opportunity for Kayla Addison, and that is a big goal in front of her.
So now some movement in the midfield as we see some movement from the Detroit City FC bench. A couple subs being readied here as LaRouge looks to give some players about 30 minutes of action to see what they're made out of and see what they can bring into tonight's contest. Good job there by Drew Martin to settle things down, finding Paget on the far side. All the way back into Offer in the midfield and gets it over to Salzenstein. So good ball movement here on Offer from Detroit City. I meant on Offer, just on display, but Ella Offer, she's been involved too. So We'll see the substitutions now. Looks like it's going to be Maddie Salzenstein that makes her way off for Amanda Britton. And then further up the pitch, we're going to see the first goal scorer of tonight's contest, Joyelle Washington, make way. I believe that's going to be for number 31, Kiera Billis, who was involved in Wednesday's trip to Cleveland. So
she's a high school senior, Iowa commit, off to play for the Hawkeyes this fall.
Obviously, just buckets of talent then coming onto the pitch. Big Ten is such a competitive conference every single year in both men's and women's soccer. To the point where when Dave Dwayhe told me that Sophia Romine was coming into the fold, my eyes lit up. I was like, oh, another Big Ten player. Let's go. Let's see what they're able to bring. So good to see Billis already involved in that, starting in the fall. Midwest United now looking to build out of the back and try to get a lifeline in this game. Every second that ticks by is one too many for the visitors. Played down the line. It's going to be some defending on hand here from Ella Offers. Amanda Britton, another one of those PASL players who contributed big time in the indoor season, looking to make an impact outside. Sean Grogan counting the players out there. I think it's 22 if I had to guess.
I was looking for the formation.
Okay.
More than I was counting players. I was seeing whether they
Romine
changed the
with
system.
a great ball into Billis, but poked away at the last second. I had faith in you knowing how many players were out there. I don't think I didn't. Played all the way across. Midwest United looking to exploit the flanks. They've had success, relative success, when they've been doing that so far compared to the other things they've been trying, but just unable to really put Detroit City FC in an awkward position and make them pay for it.
Interestingly, Midwest actually has a incoming Iowa freshman on their roster too. So
and current
I don't even
Iowa Hawkeye and Otto.
It's true.
So,
well, she's not here today, but
no, you said roster, dude. Yeah. Doubleheader, folks. It's a long day. 60 minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC up 2-0 thanks to a 25th minute goal from Joyelle Washington. And then just a few minutes ago, Kayla Addison doubled the advantage with a clinical finish. I was going to say inside the 18-yard box, but in the 6-yard box. Is there an official name for that square that the goalkeeper stands in? It's got a 6-yard box,
I think
right?
it's 6-yard box.
All right. I just didn't know if that was derivative from 18-yard box. They're just
maybe the 18-yard box derivative from the 6-yard box.
Don't even make me think about that. It'd be cool if it had like a name like goalkeeper zone or something like that. That'd be cool. But I digress. Into the hands of Shriver.
I think I'd call it the goal kick zone because that's where you have to take the goal kick from. That's
Yeah.
really the only utility of that box on the field.
Yeah, that's true. And it's cool. It's cool when other players come to take the goal kick. They get to go into the goal kick zone. That's why that's a good point. It couldn't be called the goalkeeper zone because anyone can go in there. Shriver lets this one roll all the way back to her. And yet again, we're not seeing a press from Midwest United in this position. And I wonder at what point in the match we will, because it'll have to come sooner than later. And Shriver's fully aware of this, taking valuable seconds off the clock before picking it up.
I'm a little surprised that Midwest didn't immediately run after her. She's wasting time like that. You would think that Midwest would recognize that.
That one played all the way forward. Billis is going to kind of narrow sidelines here at Keyworth Stadium for sure. Little scrum in the midfield there. Billis has been involved since coming onto the pitch a few minutes ago, making her presence known. Some defending having to be done here by Detroit City FC. Eventually, Ella Offer just gets into the mix and says, I'll take care of this. Blast it forward. Midwest United now, their first sort of spell of sustained possession in quite a while. That one's going to come across. Good cut out there by Paget. Finds Ferraro, and Britton just eventually blasts it forward, looking for Billis. Good job by Paget to get possession back for Detroit City. Paget has numbers up with her, but the foul the whistle's going to go. Not sure if it's a foul or just a head injury. I definitely saw the player that went down was holding their head.
Yeah, the referee just indicated to her head, so it will be Detroit's ball still when the play restarts.
Yeah, it's not going to make Joe White too pleased. We mentioned Amanda Britton, heavily involved in the PASL campaign this past winter, so good to see her on the pitch contributing in the outdoor. David, where he's talking about the technical ability that she possesses, the former Central Michigan Chippewa. Good to see her involved in the W League side, has sort of been over the last few years. It was nice to see her on the PASL squad, was one of the key players in that aspect of the game. Seeing her get minutes for a rare run out early on. Waiting for play to resume here. It looks like it will be a foul eventually from Detroit City FC, unless the referee has something to say about this when she comes back to it. I think Nate Stovall's a little bit confused on what the call is, just based on that. I think many folks are looking for an answer as to what the official call is here.
Does look like she has elected to restart it as if it was a foul, but it did not seem like that was what was called in the moment.
No, certainly not. Is a great job there defending by Ella Offer as we see Train here. I wonder if they'll honk at us. I wonder if we do the signal from the press box if they'll honk at us. We're all doing. I think we got 4 people right now in the press box doing it, so we'll see if they listen to us. Referee's going to say there's a free kick right on the edge of the area. The Train. There we go. Yeah, we did that. We created this. So it'll be a free kick back to the soccer part of it eventually, as you see the beautiful Train going by there at Keyworth Stadium. It's one of the more.
This is a dangerous opportunity for Midwest.
I think this Train is still going by. So any talk about soccer is going to be put on hold until this one. Actually, looking down the line, it's a pretty long Train. So we'll see. But yeah, back to this. Yeah, just like you were saying, back to the soccer, right on the edge of the area for Midwest United here. So we'll see what they're able to muster here. The right-footed ball is going to come in. It's going to go under the wall,
Blocked by the wall.
Not able to get through the feet.
The wall kind of ate that up.
Yeah.
Got stuck under their feet.
Yeah. And Shriver was sort of confused on that one, but it'll go out for a goal kick. A dangerous moment there for LaRouge. Probably the most dangerous of the match so far for Shriver. A good job to see that one out of play.
If it had been on net, I think Shriver had it covered, but she had to showcase her acrobaticness to get up there.
Nice. There you go. Nice.
Is acrobaticness a word?
It is now. Next time I'm playing Scrabble, I'm saying acrobaticness, and anyone can fight me on that. We're going to see a free kick going against Midwest United there. So Detroit City FC, last few minutes have been played well by Midwest United. They've had the ball. They've had possession. But Detroit City FC looking to slow things down a little bit.
Feels like Midwest finally has some urgency in their play after that second goal.
And that's all I've been searching for from them all game. It just hasn't seemed like they've had that. And Joe White's not going to be happy that it took 66 minutes for them to find that. A lot of slipping and sliding going on at the turf at Keyworth Stadium. Tefen's going to play that one out. It was Catherine Welch who was applying the pressure. Played all the way across. Good job by Hannah Crum to settle things down and eventually blast it out of play. Ferraro's going to have some work to do with her back to goal. I don't know if it's back to goal if you're in the midfield, but with her back to the defender, we can say that.
Back to the midfield, back to the center spot.
Back to the future. One of my favorite films. Actually, 1, 2, and 3. Top 3. We're saying back.
I'm speechless.
Yeah. I dressed up like, fun fact, I dressed up like Marty McFly when they showed it in theaters when the day of the future came, and I got made fun of relentlessly at school. It was bad. It was bad. As you can imagine, folks, it was terrible.
I'm not going to make fun of you. I think that's pretty cool.
If you saw what I looked like, you would make fun of me, for sure, big time. And then I was like, oh, sorry, fellas, I got to go to bowling practice. Like, it wasn't a good day in terms of stacking things up for me. As Detroit City FC looks like they thought they were going to retain possession there. The center referee
that was either a foul or a Detroit City throw-in, and somehow we end up with a Midwest throw-in.
I saw a huge glare from the center referee over to either the fourth official or the line judge. Sure, I don't think she was too confident in the decision, but eventually goes the way of Midwest United. But only 30 seconds later, Midwest United blasted out of play, so DCFC has a throw-in from here anyways. Britton taking the throw-in. It's a calm one over to Offer. Offer back to defend, and we mentioned before in that first half, the center back, fullback position has kind of been fluid for Detroit City FC throughout the 67 minutes thus far. That's kind of what happens when you lose Avery Peters, Acadia Murphy. So good to see that. Maya Sulis as well unavailable tonight. So Dave Dway and his staff having to get relatively creative. But if they have players of quality, and clearly they have so far, you don't not notice it, but it certainly lessens the blow a little bit. Great job there by Drew Martin to cut things back. Finds Crum in the middle of the park. Hannah Crum's going to play a left-footed ball. Romine takes a touch. He's going to touch it on to Britton. There's going to be a contact.
Heavy contact.
Yeah, heavy contact. And the referee eventually gives the foul. Wasn't sure if she would, just based on the fact that the ball was gone and you know, ineligible and out of play type deal.
The ball was that tackle was so late that the ball was nearly out of bounds already.
And that's impressive.
But I think that's what makes it a foul.
Yeah, no, for sure. Most definitely. So Hannah Crum standing over this one. And again, the angle of it, the distance, I think she would go for it if it was in the center of the pitch. But I think the angle of it might mean we might see a delivery into the box.
I think she'll try and cut it back just to the penalty spot here.
That'd be sweet. Left-footed ball coming in. Kayla Addison up there, the clever flick on. And that was a great flick, just no one there at the back post to receive it. And I wonder, I think maybe if she knew it was going to be a free header in sorts, she would have flicked it toward the goal.
It came off the top of her head. I think if she could have gotten up another inch or two, maybe she could have done that, but just inches away from being able to put a
bow on this one. Yeah, for sure. 3 goals, 3 points.
It was a very dangerous delivery from Crum, it has to be said.
Free kick specialist. Definitely a free kick specialist for LaRouge. Of course, directly scored from a free kick against Ann Arbor last weekend. And the first goal of this evening's contest came from a free kick as she's on the ball here once again. A great little stutter step before finding Amanda Britton. Britton's going to play a left-footed ball down the line. Was looking for the run of Addison, but it just took a skip off the pitch and out of play. So Britton back. Going to throw it into the path of Romine. Romine tried to touch it down. I don't think Sophia Romine's done shooting. We got 21 more minutes left in this one.
Not if she gets the opportunity. I don't think she's ever done shooting.
That one's going to go out of play for a Detroit City FC throw in. So we're going to stay with LaRouge. Britton throws it down the line. Kayla Addison sort of playing with her back to goal. Crum over to Romine. Romine plays it across to Offer. After shifting it through her feet, that's Drew Martin. Drew Martin cuts things back and plays a long ball down the left channel. Eventually won back by Midwest United. A good job by Detroit City FC here. Bounce off the turf. Up into the air. Great touch passed up. We might see a foul there, but it stays with Midwest United. This time it's Matea DeCama. DeCama bursting forward, plays it inside. Emily Padgett with some defending to do. Kiera Billis is back from a forward position to defend on this far side as they come into the box. Shriver was up for it, and I don't know that Shriver had to be diving, but she did anyways just to be safe, and it's out for a goal kick. I play goalkeeper on Pro Club, so I feel pretty. That's the most confident position I feel talking about is goalkeeper, and even then it's not. It's like 5% confidence. So. Back into the midfield. Referee's going to say there was a foul on Padgett, and no complaints from number 2. Defend plays it across to Offer as we get back underway at Keyworth. Offer back over to Defend. Defend does a good job to get it up the flank to Martin. Martin's going to have it touched out of bounds for a throw-in. So it's been a mature performance so far from this Detroit City FC side. They've kept Midwest United at bay. They've gone forward when they've needed to. A really all-around game from them so far tonight.
At this point, It has been one of the most complete games I've seen Detroit play against this level of opposition. In the past, when they've run up against the top of the league, well, I don't think they've ever been 2-0 up on the top of the league like this.
And they're doing that from the top of the league, which is the best part.
That is.
Detroit City FC, 0 losses on the season, just 2 drop points, 4 drop points, but only dropped points twice on the road to Kalamazoo in a 0-0 draw. Midwest United's match there on Thursday proves how hard of a place that can be to go in and win. And then on Wednesday, an uncharacteristic 0-0 draw with Cleveland, which at the time seemed like a big deal, a sort of drop points.
Bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it'll help that Midwest lost the next day. But even in that match, they created enough chances to win that game on a different day.
Those far away days are really the most difficult of the regular season. There's often many players who can't travel that far, whether they've got school commitments, they've got work commitments, I don't know, family events during the summer.
Yeah, if availability is hard for the home team, like it is tonight for Detroit City FC in some ways, that problem's amplified for an away match in Cleveland, middle of the week. I got home from that one at about 1:30. I imagine it was like 2:30 for the players. So you kind of add all those factors together, and you kind of see these jumbled starting 11s and 18s that they have to go out and get a result. And a point would be considered good enough when you realize the circumstances and see what Midwest did.
The other longest away day coming up for Detroit in the next game as they go to Michiana this Wednesday.
And it'll fill them with confidence that here at Keyworth they will put 5 goals past Michiana, so they'll hope for the same result on Wednesday, June 19th on the road over down in South Bend. As Romine's going to run onto this one. It was a great run through the middle, but just eventually cleared away at the last second. So it'll be a throw-in for Detroit City deep in Midwest United's half. Amanda Britton plays it all the way across, but it's cleared out by the visitors. Offer. Even with the changes, it's been an incredibly high line for the Detroit City FC squad this evening, and that shows the intent of wanting to attack and playing forward. We're seeing it more and more in the highest levels of soccer. The high lines is sort of becoming really fashionable in the highest levels of the sport. As Stefan gets it all the way back to Shriver. Kind of see Detroit City FC taking the sting out of the game a little bit now, more than they did in the first 73 minutes of the match.
They are starting to think about that time on the clock as it starts to tick towards 90 minutes.
Nearly getting to that point.
Have an extra insurance goal at this point, too. Also, Midwest is forcing them to play that way a little bit as they up the intensity.
And that one's going to go out, I believe. The offside flag was up, so Detroit City FC is going to be able to take even more seconds off the clock. Was that a shiver I just saw from Sean Grogan?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's cooling off.
It's still beautiful, though.
Oh, it is.
Don't get me wrong. But
I just wish I had brought my nice little windbreaker. But
Detroit City FC windbreaker?
It is.
That's cityfc.com/shop if you're sitting at home and could use a windbreaker.
A true professional to
I
get
know.
the.
I was pretty proud of that one. Foul there in the midfield goes against Detroit City FC. It's great. I got like 4 hoodies in my car. I didn't think to put a single one in my backpack. So
now that you mention it, I do have one in my trunk. Didn't bring it.
DCFC hoodie?
It is a DCFC hoodie also.
Still probably findable at that.
I don't think they sell that particular model anymore though, which is a shame because it was one of my favorites. Still is.
What color is it?
It's the red one with the gold sleeves.
Oh, yeah. Was that one of the starter ones? I think it might have. Maybe.
I don't remember what the brand is on it. All
Yeah.
I know is it looks good.
Ex-girlfriend of mine still has one of my starter hoodies and eats me up every day. What could have been, what could have been with the hoodie? I could have one back. Who knows? Who knows? 76 minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium, Detroit City FC, sitting comfortable with a 2-0 advantage over the visiting Midwest United. I think again it's Sophia Romine. Is this a shin pads thing? Or is it a head injury?
She looks like she's visiting the trainer real quick. Maybe.
Oh, I see. You see the gash on her leg.
Oh, yeah. Has sent off because of blood.
Getting stuck in. Oh, the referee's going to give a penalty here to Midwest United. Kind of came from nothing. Detroit City FC bench not happy with that decision, but nonetheless, it will be a penalty to the visitors. So things could get interesting here with 76 and a half minutes gone. Looks like is that the substitute? Is that Reagan Berg standing over this one for the visitors? Yes, it is. So Reagan Berg comes onto the pitch in that first half early on and has a chance here to have the deficit and get her side back into this one. Steps up, Shriver goes the right way, but into the back of the net. Berg converts the penalty, and it's 2-1. Detroit City FC still leads, but things get a lot more nervy than they were just a couple seconds ago as Nate Northup still arguing his side's case from the touchline to the fourth official. I'm not sure if I am 1,000% clear what that penalty was called for.
I did not get a good look at it. It was just behind the pillar in the press box for me.
Oh, okay. Pulling the curtain back on the broadcast team. It's a beautiful press box here at Keyworth Stadium. But Detroit City FC now, they got to dig deep here and hold on to things here in the last 12 and a half minutes if they want to come out of this one with all 3 points. Certainly not what they would have wanted to see, with 12 minutes remaining. And in some ways, you kind of want the message to the squad should be just forget it. It's happened. It's over. Don't feel hard done by. We got these next 12 minutes to defend and come out of this one with 3 points. As now Midwest United will be a little bit galvanized by that.
Sophia Romine coming back onto the pitch. She's got patched up by the training.
So she wasn't even on the field for that. So that's how good she is. She comes off and then
she's got black tape around her knee now. It must have been where she was bleeding from.
Some defending having to be done there by Ella Offer. Midwest United, you can tell just in the couple seconds after the goal, they're turning up that knob a little bit, looking to get back into this one with some pressure and some intensity. And we'll see how Detroit City FC handles that. They haven't had to deal with it all game, and now in these last 11 minutes, it's going to be a full-on sprint as the visitors look to get something out of this one. Great dribble inside there by Emily Paget, finds Romine. Romine tried to poke it past the defender and get things back underway. It's going to be a throw-in for Detroit City FC. It was good defending there by Diekma. Britton throws it in, looking for Kayla Addison. Midwest United looking to advance up the pitch, but Hannah Crum gets eventually onto it. A sort of a physical battle there in the midfield between Crum and Fetty. The intensity is going to be picking up here over these next few minutes.
I think it already has,
yeah.
Is what we're seeing. Now some words between the referee
and Olivia Dalt. Olivia Dalt kind of laughs off what she was told, so I'm sure she's taken that information fully on board.
Looked like there was a little bit of tangle up between her and Hannah Crum behind the ball.
Great job there by Romine. Ferraro tried to play it forward, had Billis and Addison up with her, but unable to connect on the pass. Addison might get on the end of this loose ball as Romine tried to get there. She got there eventually in the end, just unable to plant her foot in a way that would advance the ball up the pitch to her teammates as Britton has some defending to do. Crum eventually blasted forward, nearly took out the Midwest United head coach Joe White down there with that volley attempt. Defend all the way forward as Midwest, they've controlled the game since their goal. Detroit City FC looks a little bit frantic right now. Just have to settle things down a little bit and take some valuable seconds off the clock as we cross into the 80th minute barrier. Played down the line to Billis. So far down the line that it barely just goes out of play for a Midwest United throw-in. We're in for a grandstand final 10 minutes here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City has to dig deep. We talk about the experience that Midwest United has, how much of an institution they've been, and it's for moments like this. They show up in moments like this, and we'll see there is Kayla Addison gets the ball, but she's offside, coming from an offside position regardless.
Yeah, you can really feel the intensity pick up. Just being live in the stadium, you can feel the fans.
Ooh, Romine nearly was able to corral that one and take it under her feet, but it's going to go out for a Midwest United throw-in. Tefen doing a great job holding off the attacker. And we've seen moments before where Detroit City FC has held leads over Midwest United, but then like a true bogey team, they just turn it around when they have to. They come out, they come back from deficits, and they get the points they need to. So I wonder if we'll see that again.
This is a really strong test of Detroit City's resiliency right here. If they can see out this final 9 minutes of the match.
That one bounces over everybody, would have caused some concern for the back line. That one's eventually going to be played forward, and we'll see the whistle drawn there by Nina Ferraro. So valuable seconds coming off the clock here. I think Tefen was talking to the referee saying, where do you want me to put this one down? I just tick after tick after tick after tick off the clock.
It's important to get that right.
She wants to get it exactly right, too.
To the inch.
It would be unfair not to. As Kayla Addison's going to Kayla Addison having a performance this evening. A good one, of course. Got the second goal of tonight's contest. Yellow card's going to be shown to Sophia Romine, one that she's going to be happy to take on board. We're back underway quickly before the referee, I think, even knew about it. Yeah, I was going to say, the referee wasn't even looking at that one.
Still writing in the notebook.
And what's funny is, like, if Detroit City FC had done that, I think we might see a yellow card for time wasting. But there's no reason for Midwest United to time waste. That was just trying to get the game started. Almost the opposite of time wasting, but it ends up being time wasting. Complicated sport, this soccer thing we got going on here. Is that right-footed ball is going to be played into right outside of the Detroit City FC area. Wow, I'm shocked the referee didn't call that one.
I thought that there was a handball.
And I thought the referee considered calling it, which makes it even more strange that she didn't, because it definitely was a handball, but not in the eyes of the official. So we play on at Keyworth, and that would have been another dangerous position for Midwest United.
Absolutely.
Billis, great job with her back to goal as well to slip in Britton. Britton just unable to find anyone in the midfield to connect with, so now Midwest United has a chance to get things forward. Currently, it's going to be at the feet of Olivia Dalt, who gets things to her teammates. And just like that, Midwest United further up the pitch. And you wonder, what would the scoreline be right now if they started the match and played with it with this intensity rather than waiting for a penalty kick to show up and have their deficit?
I guess we will never know.
That one's going to be played in, and Billis is going to get over to it. A nervy 6 minutes plus stoppage here for Detroit City FC. It's been all Midwest United since the goal. That one comes in, and Joe White throws his hat in frustration at the ground. And that kind of caught everyone off guard.
That might be the best chance they have all night long, and she popped it wide of the post there.
And a huge sigh of relief for this sort of makeshift Detroit City FC backline, not in terms of quality, just in terms of where these players usually play at. It stood tall for 76 minutes this evening before giving up that penalty. Britton's going to get over to it and play it down the line. I think that took a touch off of a Midwest United FC coaching staff member on the bench, but no hard feelings. Throw in coming for the visitors. Diekma's going to take it. Crum's going to clear it away. What Detroit City FC is struggling to do right now is hold on to the ball, maintain possession. When they get it, they're kind of just frantically blasting it up the field, and they haven't done that all year, and it's worked, and I don't think it's working for them right now.
They do seem like they're sitting a lot deeper at this point, maybe content to defend, try and see out the time on the clock.
And at 2-0, that's way safer than at 2-1.
Does seem like they've shifted an additional forward back, Kira Billis, more in the midfield now than playing at striker where she was earlier.
Diekma, right-footed ball into the area. Free header at the far post, and Shriver gets over to make the save. It was the goal scorer, Reaganberg, with a free header about 8 to 10 yards out, and Shriver had to be quick over to her right to get a hand on it to keep Detroit City FC ahead in this one as Billis sees that one bounce up. A good header by Billis to advance the ball. Kayla Addison's going to be the first to it, kind of just running toward that corner flag. Dribbling inside her defender. Detroit City FC had numbers forward there. Could have elected, I think at 2-0 we see Kayla Addison go for that one, but Ferraro was going to take it not to the corner, but near the corner, and we'll see a throw-in for DCFC. We'll also see a substitution for Le Rouge now as number 32, Isabella Sabo, is going to come in.
See who looks like Kayla Addison coming off.
Sabo for Addison. So
put in a strong shift tonight.
Yeah, great performance from Kayla Addison. And she wanted to keep that ball in the corner for as long as possible. She probably knew that was her last action of the match. So if she could have seen that one out to at least 90, she would have been pleased. And so would the fans have been here at Keyworth Stadium. Isabella Sabo, though, another one of those indoor players from January, of course, has been around the Detroit City FC outdoor team for a few years now. was a key player of that indoor PASL squad, but is now looking to make an impact at the outdoor team and looking to contribute in a big moment as Detroit City FC looks to hang on to a massive 3 points here at Keyworth. That fan probably could have held on to that ball.
Yeah, Amanda Britton looked a little shocked that it came back so quickly to her.
Yeah, that fan probably could have held on to that ball for a few more minutes. No, seconds, excuse me, not minutes. Yeah, I don't know if fans get a yellow card, but maybe.
The fans cannot get a yellow card, so.
Someone has to. Yeah, someone has to. I don't think, hopefully broadcasters can't get a yellow card. That'd be dangerous. Going to ground there was Amanda Britton. I think it was Kira Billis that committed the foul, but it's going to eventually come all the way back.
I think just a slight pullback on the shoulder rather than the actual tackle that came in.
2.5 minutes plus stoppage remaining here at Keyworth Stadium as Dave Dwayhe's side has to dig deep to hold on to an all-important 3 points this evening. 2 goals, one from Joelle Washington and another from Kayla Addison to give LaRouge a 2-0 lead that was thwarted by a Midwest United penalty just a few minutes ago. Into the 88th minute here shortly. Detroit City FC wins a valuable throw-in. Some discussion as to who's going to take it. Of course, ticking valuable seconds off of the clock. Thrown down the line. And the thing you lose with Kayla Addison coming off is that physical presence that can make the ball stick up top, sort of a tip of the spear. So we'll see how they cope with that as Romine's going to have to step into a position here to
you gain some fresh legs with Sabo coming on.
Certainly. As Romine, who certainly doesn't have fresh legs, being played all 90 so far.
Could have fooled me.
Physical battle there on the far side.
Pressing like that, it seems like her legs are pretty. She's got a lot left in the tank at this point.
Throw in now for Midwest United. You just got to imagine they're going to throw this one as far forward as they can muster. Love me a long throw in. Love me a long throw in. Good flick on there in the middle of the park by Romine. Tried to find Sabo. Sabo in a physical battle engaged there with Megan Wilson. First time I've said Wilson's name this evening. Paget now dribbling into some space, but turned over to Rayanne Fetty. Good dribbling there in the midfield to keep possession for Midwest United. Ella Offer gets a crucial foot in there, and Hannah Crum goes to ground. Offer now Detroit City FC stretched just a little bit here. Dangerous ball in, goes over everybody. Shriver's going to tell Drew Martin, I got this one. And like we saw earlier, they were not pressing Gabby Shriver in the box prior, and they have to now. No choice. "20 seconds away from that 90-minute mark. We'll see how much stoppage time is granted here at Keyworth Stadium. Got to imagine the penalty, a couple subs. I imagine we're in for at least a few minutes of stoppage time as Midwest United here have numbers forward. Dangerous ball into the area, eventually cleared out, but only as far as Olivia Dalt, coming all the way out wide to Diekma. Diekma's going to play it in, eventually headed away. We'll see four added minutes. Same added time as we saw in the men's match earlier. Ferraro looking to apply some pressure. It's going to come all the way out. Amanda Britton has some defending to do on Fetty. Fetty's going to play a dangerous left-footed ball into the area. That one's poked away. Isabella Sabo has her first touches, unable to fully clear that one. Heart rate increasing here at Keyworth Stadium. The most crucial 4 minutes of the season right here for LaRouge and Dave Dwayhe's side. We mentioned earlier that maybe Detroit City FC would take a draw, but certainly not after being 2-0 up.
At this point, it would feel like a disappointment if they were to concede.
Midwest United trying to stretch the play and make this Detroit City FC backline open up a little bit. They're going to be aware that they're not natural center backs that they're going up against as they get the ball advanced. That left-footed ball is going to come in, and Shriver's going to claim that one and should be under zero hurry to distribute this one. Wouldn't even mind seeing Shriver take a yellow card here. If I was a fan of Detroit City FC, of course, as an unbiased broadcaster, she should get this thing started immediately and does so. Good save. Good poker face is unbelievable. Ferraro up for the header. Romine onto it. Romine didn't see the defender coming. Didn't get a man-on call out from her teammates as Fetty's able to progress the ball there. Paget's going to have some defending to do all the way back. And, again, the clearance there is scuffed from Detroit City FC. Olivia Dalt gets a boot onto it, and in some space on this near side is Diekma. Amanda Britton shifts over to defend. Diekma's going to play a left-footed ball into some space and took an awkward and wicked deflection, and it'll be out for a Midwest United FC corner as the seconds tick on. Okarofo's coming up for this one. Not often you see a goalkeeper come up for a corner kick at Keyworth Stadium. Being urged on by Joe White, they're going to pack the penalty area here. So a good delivery. Anything could happen on this one. About 2.5 minutes into the stoppage time, the corner kick comes in, eventually cleared away, takes a deflection, a header in front of the goal. That one's going to go over for a Gabby Shriver goal kick. Catch your breath, folks, at Keyworth.
That was a dangerous moment.
Once that first flick happened, it could have ended up anywhere.
Starts bouncing around in the box, especially with Midwest having an extra player in the box pulling their goalkeeper. It's hard to defend against when you're outnumbered like that.
That one's blasted forward, not by Shriver. Paget comes out. A good touch from her. An important one is Ferraro's going to look to hold on to the ball there. We'll see some contact in the midfield, but not enough for a foul. It's Midwest United coming once again. Edge of the area, the right-footed shot comes in. Shriver holds on to it.
Easy for Shriver.
And that'll take some more valuable seconds off of the clock. Can't be much more stoppage time now.
I think we're through at least 3 minutes of stoppage time. Of course, 4 minutes is the minimum, but there hasn't really been any stoppages during this.
Ferraro is just going to take a touch on that one and blast it forward. We mentioned the fresh legs of Sabo. She's going to run onto this one. Some defending to do now from Olivia Albert.
Ball.
Great job by Sabo to win the ball, and she had Romine up with her, but elects to do the smart play and stay out at the corner. And, of course, you mentioned PASL. Sabo was, getting thrown up against the board, throwing others into the board. So defending the ball in the corner is light work for her.
She was able to win a valuable 20 seconds or so for Les Rouges there.
Paget plays it down the line. We'll see an offside call here. So you got to imagine only one more push forward here from Midwest United. Detroit City FC so close to making a massive step toward their first ever playoff berth. Romine on the ball. No one else you'd rather want. Billis just blazed that one forward. Detroit City FC bench indicating 4 minutes. The whistle sounds. Detroit City FC picks up a gigantic 3 points at home to Midwest United and takes a massive step toward their first ever playoff berth, fielding a women's first team. Detroit City FC gets the job done. It was a little bit nervy at times, but DCFC wins 2-1. Sean, how did you see the match?
Oh, I think that's the most complete match that they put together against playoff level opponents. Just absolutely fantastic all-around performance. Had to dig deep in the end there. Managed to hold off Midwest as they picked up the intensity, and they are sitting well in the table at this point.
A really good job by Detroit City FC to show what they're made of, dig deep those final 14 minutes, and hold on to all 3 points. That'll do it for us here at Keyworth Stadium. Next up, Detroit City FC travels to Michiana in the midweek and then welcomes Kalamazoo FC here on Saturday in a 4 p.m. kickoff for what's another top-of-the-table clash in the Great Lakes Division in the USL W League. I've been Jarrett Mackey alongside Sean Grogan. Thanks so much for joining us.